Game day popcorn chicken. Look at that. Bon appetit. Those are beautiful strawberry shortcakes. Game day popcorn chicken. Carne asada crunchy tacos. Drizzle some sauce around my plate. Smells so good. I'm going to show you how to make game day popcorn chicken. You're going to need chicken breast, and we're going to cut these up. I do like to cut this little piece of fat off here. And we're going to cut these into bite-sized pieces. So usually when you get popcorn chicken, it's good. We're aiming for KFC's popcorn chicken, and they usually have more breading than chicken. So I'm going to make mine just a little bit better, and I'm going to make mine a little bit more chunkier. So we're going to cut our chicken into about quarter-size pieces. Basically enough for a bite size, right? So we're just going to slice it into little cubes. We're going to cube our chicken. So it's still small enough to be considered popcorn chicken, but it's going to be bite size. And we're going to get a nice piece of meat in there. So one breast cuts up into about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's about 10 to 12 pieces per chicken breast. So you're going to want a good 5, 6 chicken breasts depending on how many people you got to feed. So we're just going to go ahead and go through all of our chicken here and just slice it up. And I don't like this little gristle fat thing on the side, so I cut that off. I don't like to bite into that. So that you could turn into a dog treat. Then they'll have a game day. Alright, so again, I'm just going to cut it long ways with the grain, and then I'm going to cut it against the grain into little bite-sized pieces. And you want to try to get them kind of as even as possible. I might cut that one then a little bit smaller. There we go. And then just chop it on up. So we got about 3 more breasts to chop up here. And they don't have to be exactly. If you like a little more chicken in your popcorn chicken, then you can make your pieces a little bit bigger. If you like more breading, less chicken, just cut them up into little tiny pieces. If you're trying to make a little bit of chicken go a long way. It's a perfect game day appetizer / snack. And it's easy to serve. And it's easy to cook. So now we just have to chop it into cubes. Alright. Cut that little gristle piece off. And make sure you get real chicken. I hear a lot of things out there about some plastic chicken. So this one you could tell it's real meat when you play with it. It acts like real meat. Alright, so I got a couple more pieces here. I'm just going to cut off this little gristle piece on top. It's just a little too chewy to eat, and you don't want to kind of give your guests that nasty little gristle part. So this one is kind of fat, so I'm going to cut it in half. There we go. So I have a couple tricks to help keep the breading on the chicken. If you've ever fried chicken and the breading came off, it's a moisture problem. So chicken happens to be super moist. You can tell there's moisture in the bottom of my bowl right now. So what you want to do is you want to get either a poultry cloth or just some paper towels. I like to just be able to throw it away. And you're going to want to just damp at your chicken until you get it all dry. Alright, so you can see how sticky that's getting. Like it's getting kind of like tacky, dry. So I need to do this a good 1 or 2 more times. There we go. See how it's sticking? We want it sticky because we want everything to stick to it. So that is nice and dry. And now I'm going to add my spices after I wash my hands. Okay, so now that we got our chicken fully dried off, my other trick to getting the bread to get a little bit thicker and to stick on your chicken is to use 1 egg yolk. So I went ahead and took out the egg white, and it's just 1 single egg yolk. It's very sticky, and it will help everything stick to it. and it doesn't have a lot of moisture. As you can tell, it doesn't even want to come out the bowl. So the goal is to make it extra sticky for the flour and the spices. So that's why I just want the yolk. Now, I'm going to add my seasonings directly to my chicken. To my spices, I'm going to do a teaspoon of ground pepper. Now, popcorn chicken tends to be more pepperish and not as spicy, but I like my chicken's flavor. So, along with the pepper, I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of cayenne, and I like a lot of Creole, no salt. I think it gives a lot of flavor. So I'm going to do one tablespoon in here, and then I'm going to put the other tablespoon in my flour. So again, I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, and the rest is going into my flour. Okay? So we're going to mix this up. You can choose whatever spices you want. Alright, so my popcorn chicken is going to be full of flavor. Look at all that. See how that egg just made those spices stick to it? And see how it's not wet, it's sticky? That's exactly how we want it. Because now it's going to stick to the flour better. Okay? So, you can do this 2 ways. You can either slowly add your flour to your chicken and stir it in. Or you can add your chicken to your flour. So I'm going to go ahead and get my grease to 360. Alright. Now that we have our chicken mix here, I'm going to go ahead and put that other tablespoon of garlic powder into my flour. I'm going to put that other tablespoon of Creole no salt into my flour. And I'm going to put a tablespoon of ground black pepper into my flour as well. A whole tablespoon. Alright, so you're going to just go ahead and mix this into your flour. So I'm going to make sure each piece of chicken is dredged into my flour. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it on my tray so it's ready to go into the grease. Alright, so I'm going to put a few pieces in at a time. And then I'm going to use my fork here to make sure they individually get dipped into the flour. Oh, these are going to be so good. I can already see the pepper sticking to them. And that's the coolest thing about popcorn chicken is you can see the little bites of pepper in the flour. So that's how you get that, is by adding ground pepper to your flour. So now these little pieces are ready to go into the grease. So just to get the extra flour off, I'm just going to make sure that they're fully powdered, and then they'll be ready to go into my grease. You want to make sure that each individual piece of chicken is fully coated on all sides and all the crevices. You can push it down and make sure it gets that extra coat. And of course you can use the shake the bag method if you like that too. You can put the flour into a Ziploc bag and then put your chicken in there and then shake it up. That's a faster way of doing it. And it's still, you get the same result. As long as they don't stick together and they individually get coated in the flour, you're good to go. Again, if you want me to make any copycat recipe, just put it in my comments and I'd be more than happy to make you a video. I've almost got them all coated here. Alright, so it looks like I got all my chicken out. And the cool thing about this is you can just shake it one time and all the excess flour goes to the bottom. So you don't have that burning in your grease pan. I do like these little trays. It would have been cool if I could find a pink one. So I got my grease too hot, so I'm just waiting for it to come down. It's at 359 right now. And when we add our chicken, it's going to lower the temp. So Let's see if I can leave it on medium as I add my chicken. Now these won't take too long to cook because they're such small pieces of chicken. That it's also what makes them such a fun treat to make. So it looks like I've almost filled up my pan here. Put these little pieces in. Alright. Now, but I find paper towels, napkins work best, so here we go. Now I'm going to go ahead, it's at 250. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that back up so my temperature could go up just a little bit more. And my chicken's looking really good here. Look at that, fried. It's got a golden brown color. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a turn. Look at that. Now if you double dip them, you get them more crispy. But I find that just this golden brown crispy edge color is perfect. So let's turn our stove up to get that back up to 350. To make sure our chicken's cooked all the way. And another way you can tell your chicken's getting done is it starts floating to the top of the grease. So as it's undercooked, it sinks to the bottom and then it starts to float up. And when it's all the way cooked, it gets nice and crispy and buoyant. Like it just bounces off the top of the grease.
One eternity later.
Oh man, those are looking so good. Alright, so that's exactly how I like mine to be. Just when it starts to get a little bit darker on that crispy edge. Gets a different color to it. Oh man, these look so good. I hope you guys tell me how they came out when you try them at home. And what your spice cabinet consists of. What your favorite spice is. This is mine. A whole lot of garlic powder and some Creole. And I really like these wooden handled utensils I have too. I can't believe they're heat resistant. You wouldn't think you'd be putting rubber in grease, right? So I want to get my grease back up to 350 for my next batch of popcorn chicken. And as you go, just refresh your paper towels so that all your pieces of chicken can get, the extra grease can get absorbed and your chicken stays crispy. Now if you need to keep them warm, you can put them in the oven. On the bottom of your oven, turn your oven to low broil. Put them on the bottom of your oven and it'll keep them warm until you're ready to serve. But I'm going to be ready to eat in a minute, so I'm just going to set these right here. Alright, let's go ahead. I'm almost up to 350, so I'm going to go ahead and put my chicken in here. As you can tell, 5 chicken breasts made quite a bit of popcorn chicken. It looks like we're going to have a really big full platter here. And I'm going to give those just a couple more minutes. Now that these are dry, I can mix them with the rest here. Alright. I also like the egg yolk trick because it adds a little extra protein to your chicken. I think we got more yellow than anything on here. Let's get some more red and blue. Who says you can't have fun with your food? And who says you can't make better food from home? Especially now with, you know, you just can't trust what you get in fast food restaurants anymore, and they put so many chemicals in it. I mean, it's pretty easy just to make it at home yourself, and then it's healthier. You know what's in it. All right. Here we go. That tastes like KFC's popcorn chicken with a little bite to it. So you can taste the pepper, and you definitely can taste the cayenne, and you can taste a little bit of the Creole. And if you don't like it spicy, just omit the Creole. I mean, omit the cayenne pepper. But I like mine that peppery flavor. I really get that black pepper flavor. And it's got just enough crust to make it crunchy. You can hear the crunch. So, here we have it. Game day popcorn chicken. Enjoy.